Good morning, good morning, good morning, and how are you today? Well, we hope you survived eating too much on Thanksgiving, like we all did. We all ate a little bit more than we would normally eat. But anyway, we have survived. It's another day, and you can drink your water and exercise and fast a few days to get rid of some of what you think you ate too much of. But I just want to start out this morning by just asking you to reflect and just think about what we yearn for, the things we want, the things we think we need, the things we hope for, the things we think that God does not give to us when we pray because He's not answering my prayer right now. And I keep telling you that sometimes you truly have to wait for years and years before your prayer is actually answered. Sometimes it's tragedy that gives you the answers. Tragedy that you didn't want, that you didn't imagine, that you didn't enjoy, that you struggled through, that you got anyway. And sometimes we think, well, I do anyway, is what you're doing making a difference? Are you helping anyone? Are you doing anything for anyone? Are you encouraging anyone by doing this show? Is anyone listening? Is anyone watching? Does anyone care what you say? Or what you do? Or what you ask them to do? Or what you try to do to uplift them? Because maybe their minds are just not changed. Maybe they themselves just need to change their mind and start off by doing what they're supposed to do to make them love who they are. But I listen to people who talk, on TED and, on Oprah and on other shows. And I listen to them. They talk about, compassion. They talk about, forgiveness. And they talk about being grateful. But I really and truly believe in the depth of my spirit, in my soul, in my mind, and in my heart, that if you don't love who you are, which is what I try to promote on this show, it is my intention to get each and every one of you to love yourself just the way God made you. Because I truly believe that before you can be grateful, before you can have compassion, before you can receive love, you have to love yourself first. Even if you have children, if they see that you don't love who you are and you're hating yourself every day and your body and you don't like this and I don't like that, and they would feed off of that. So for me, and I hope for you, that you can love yourself first, then you will have someone else loving you. Then you can give love. Because if you are a hater of self, how do you give love? How do you receive it if you hate? If you're jealous all the time, if you're envious, if you're bitter, if you have unforgiveness in your heart constantly, how do you give compassion? And how can you show gratitude if you're hating on you? So I truly, truly believe, and I ask you to come with me on this journey, this crusade of loving who you are just the way God made you. Not saying you can't add some context to give you blue eyes or green eyes. Not saying you can't have the weave, because everybody has a weave. Now, I don't even know who has their real hair and who doesn't. Whether you're white or black, it's not black women only wearing weave. White women wearing those things you pin in if their hair is thin. So the weave industry is not exclusively to black women or the wigs. Everybody's wearing them. Kind of sort of me. I tried that weave thing. I hate it. But that's just me. Because to me, when I put my fingers through my hair, I should not feel bumps. I should feel my scalp. Yeah? And I do believe that if you're in bed with someone, or you're with someone, a guy, and they run their hand through your hair, they should not be feeling bumps. And we wonder sometimes who is actually real. And some people, they put on so much hair you don't even recognize them if you knew them prior to the hair. So are we trying to change who we are by the hair that we weave or the wig that we wear? Or are we trying to enhance what we love that God made us to be already? Who are you? Why are you here? What are you doing to make someone else's life better? And can you actually have compassion and be grateful and show love if you don't have love for yourself? I truly believe you can't. Because if you don't have love for yourself and self-confidence and your own self-esteem, how can you give it? And how can you receive it? Is it that women believe that they're not whole? Like I hear a commercial, he completes me. A man does not complete you. You complete yourself. We should not be looking for someone else to make us happy, because you have to make your own self happy. And I want you to hear me today. And I want you to take this program and spread it to all your friends around the world. Because it is important and it is crucial. And no one try to steal my idea of I Love Me, because I already have the CD that I made and it's copyrighted and all that kind of stuff. So if you try it, I can actually sue you. But this has seriously been something on my heart for years and years and years, and I wonder why women are so needy. Why do women believe they have to have a guy to be complete, to be whole? You're whole on your own, by yourself. Just like a guy believes he's God's gift to the world, by himself. Do men look to women to complete them? Or to make them whole? Or to make them happy? Or is it that women just kind of strive for this because we just got to do this thing? So I plead with you on this, a new day. As you might have eaten too much turkey or, cake or pie or whatever you did, it's okay. Get back on your routine. Don't beat yourself up. Drink your water, as Dax would advise you to do. Take his detox too. You can do that. Get back on track. We need to be more loving to who we are. Then we can be thankful. How about that? Just be thankful for who you are, for the things that God gave you. We should be thankful just to wake up in the morning and be on our 2 feet, and we're not lying on our backs in a hospital bed. Or we're not dead like the actor who had all that he wanted, including his Porsche that he died in Los Angeles. Would you have been one of those people on the train in the Bronx yesterday that derailed and people died and got injured? You must be thankful. And you can't just be thankful once in a while on Thanksgiving. You have to be thankful every day, more than one time a day. It is important. Do you know if you're getting back home this evening? Like those people on the train, they were heading home, I bet. They were 15 minutes away. But some of them just didn't make it. Or would you have rather been in that accident in Massachusetts with over 70 cars crashing and bending and crumbling? My golly. Or would you just like to just be thankful to God for having you in your house, that you were not out there getting killed, and you're still alive today? And you can live for this moment, and today, right now, is what we have. We just don't know what we have 5 seconds from now. Because life changes in an instant. The way the miracles happened in the Bible, immediately. Because that's how we want our miracles to happen every single day. So I ask you today to think about loving yourself, being thankful, and then be compassionate. And be wise. Change your mind, feed your mind the right things. And my golly, please stop complaining. God gives us rain, we complain. He gives us heat, we complain. He gives us snow, we complain. What do you want? He gives us cold, we complain. And everyone you talk to, they have a job, they hate their jobs. There are lots of people who don't have a job. So should you be thankful for the job that you have? There we go again, thankful. You have a husband, you complain about how awful he is. But didn't you kind of see how awful he was going to be before you married him? Did you pray for God to give you a husband? Well, you got to make it work now. People pray to have children. But then as soon as a child is not behaving the way they think the child should behave, they want to get rid of the kid. Or they complain. But we do complain about our children until we see someone else's child, how badly they behave. So we pray for God to give us money. And when we get the money, we just act like we are stupid. We buy 10 cars and 10 houses. How many cars can you drive and how many houses can you live in? I don't care if you're doing it for tax purposes. Yes, we all should have dreams and we all should hope for things. But we should be content with what we have right now, where we are right now, until our path is changed. By only one God can do that, through his son Jesus. You know, a lot of people talk about, oh, they're self-made millionaires. Yeah, really? If God didn't want you to become that millionaire, you would never be that millionaire. I promise you that. Seriously. Just think about it. And yes, we all pray and we get frustrated because we just don't think that God is answering our prayers when he should, when we want him to, when we decide that he's Santa Claus and he's just got to give us all our wishes. Yes, he promised to grant us all the desires of our hearts. But he also wants us to be good human beings too. So where do you fall in that realm of possibility today? Yes, you're divorced. You're divorced maybe because that guy was just a jerk and you shouldn't have married him anyway. And someone else might come and someone else might not come. And you should be content and satisfied with yourself. Love your own company. Love yourself, that you just want to be by yourself. If you don't have love for yourself, you cannot give love and you cannot receive love. Whatever you're giving or receiving is fake and is a fraud. I promise you that. And yes, This is the Diana Wright Show. I thank you so much for joining me today. We'll take a break right now and come back to you in just a moment. And we appreciate you from around the world and in the United States. And I consistently have to say a special hello and good morning to my good fat all the way in China. Monique, blessings for you. And I thank you so much for taking the time to watch the Diana Wright Show and just see what we do here, and hope that some of what we say and what we give will reach you and motivate you, whatever is happening with you in China. So yes, and we have some folks in Africa too. Thank you, because we do try to reach. When we talk about things, we want to reach everyone. Loving yourself is everyone on this planet that needs to do that, including the people you think are so in love with themselves already, like the celebrities and the president and the first lady. They have problems just like you do. They get up every day and put their clothes on the same way you do. They cry the way you do. They are stressed the way you are. Yeah, they might have a little more money, and they're, everyone knows them, so they can get a little more deals going on that you can't get. But be content with what you have and who you are, and leave the rest to the mighty one God through his son Jesus. So we thank you for joining us today inside the Diana Wright Show. We'll be back in just a moment. Hello everyone, this is a season of giving, and I'm asking you to consider one of your gifts to be Deadly Negligence, written by yours truly, Diana Wright. A story that will give you hope, make you mad, shock you sometimes, but is bound to increase your faith and make you believe in miracles again. So please, give Deadly Negligence as a gift, as the gifting season begins to heat up. I am depending on you to do this for me. Thank you so much, and be the proud person to give a gift of the book Deadly Negligence. It's available on Amazon.com and on my website dianawrighttv.webs.com. Thank you so much for my viewers around the world and in the United States. Be blessed. Remember, April 30th, 2014 is International I Love Me Day. I want you to start thinking about what will you do special for you on that day. Share it with me on Facebook and Twitter, and join the conversation on the Diana Wright Show, Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. We are live. The number to call, 561-228-1921. That's 561-228-1921. Join the conversation. Like us on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. Okay, we're back, and this is the Diana Wright Show live. We thank you so much for joining us from around the world and in the United States. And we do this Monday through Friday at 10:30 a.m. We are live for an hour, and then you can see that show later on in the evening. But we ask you to spread the word, tell a friend, pass the shows on to people. Invite them to get to the website and watch the shows, because you just never know what you'll get from each show. I'm truly trying to get each and every one of you to love who you are. It's so important for the rest of your life, for the rest of your being. And Paul Crouch, who started TBN, he died today. 79 years old. I think everyone knows about TBN and how it started, but he's no more with us. So just imagine. Well, his son was kind of taking over things for a while now, so I would assume he must not have been that well. His wife was sick at one time. She said she had cancer and God cured her. What do you have that's troubling you this morning that you would like God to cure? If you believe that He can cure it, He will. If you pray without doubt and believe that you receive what you're praying for, you will receive whatever you're asking for. And if you don't get it immediately, don't beat up on yourself. I want to just touch a little bit on President Obama because, yes, he surprised a lot of people on Saturday for Small Business Shopping Saturday. He went to a bookstore and bought lots of books. Wise man, isn't he? Because he reads a lot. And you should be giving books a lot. Like my book, you should be giving to someone for a holiday gift. You can get it on Amazon, or you can get it on Kindle, or you can get it on my website, and I'll send it to you. Either way, books reading maketh the man. And when you read, it only allows you to grow, to know something else, to know something new. And that's the reason traveling is so key to life. Because if you stay in your little cocoon and go no place else, you don't try anyone else's culture, food, nothing, you just become a person that is not worthy, I think. So let's explore our minds. Let's explore other people's culture. And just let us not hate someone else because they don't look like us. Why do we continue to do that? And stop the complaining. Okay, the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, whatever you want to call it, the website is working at 90% better than it was when it launched in October. So what do we hear now? Oh my God, they're going to complain about something else now. The next complaint is, oh, well, they have health care now, so they're not going to take care of themselves any longer because they figure they have what they need to go to the doctor. It is your responsibility to take care of your wellness. It is your responsibility to try and exercise for at least half an hour a day. If I'm doing it, you should be too. And I just happen to do it 7 days a week. Some days I might not be doing as much, but I try 10 minutes, half an hour, whatever you can muster. Get up off your butt and do something. There's an ad that runs with Lawrence O'Donnell's voice on MSNBC. And it shows someone lighting a candle and he's referencing President Kennedy's word, who said, "It's better to light a candle than sit and curse the dark." So do something. I don't care how small a thing it is. Go look in the mirror and say, I love me. Whether I'm fat, whether I think I'm ugly, whether I think my nose is too big, whether I think my skin is too dark, whether I think my hair is too thin, I love me. 3 magic words. Get your love groove on for yourself. And then you will see how much life opens up. And your confidence is at its peak. Your self-esteem is blooming. Let's do that. And please stop complaining about everything. So you get health care, you're going to complain that people are not going to be doing the things they, oh, I can smoke a cigarette now because I know I have health care? Oh my God, please stop. Let's go to Australia. Do you actually know what's going on in Australia? Because Australia is being accused of spying on top politicians in Indonesia. And the Indonesians are mad as hell and they're not doing what we did or anyone else did, because in Germany they could have been demonstrating against America for spying on Merkel. But they didn't. Yeah, they said some things. But in Indonesia, they are demonstrating left and right. They're threatening not to buy this from Australia and get it from someplace else. And my golly, they're mad. What makes people in some parts of the world able to get up and demonstrate against things that they don't want until they get what they want? I think they tried it in America when they tried to demonstrate with the Wall Street, but after a while the cops just kind of took over, try to get them out. So are we as free as we think we are in America? Seems like only the Tea Party know how to demonstrate and get crazy and write up those crazy placards and call President Obama all kind of bad names and get away with it. Indeed, we need to think about what we complain about. We need to be more thankful and more content with what we have. And my golly, if we get rid of the hate and the jealousy and the envy, because it's all wrapped up in one circle. They hate Obama because they're envious of the fact that he's in the White House, and they're jealous of the fact that he is the president. It's all wrapped up in a circle, and you check it out. In your own lives, in your own circle. Why does your family member don't like you so much? Because maybe you're succeeding and they're not. But what are they doing? They're sitting on their laurels and expecting you to provide them and give them money. If you win the lottery, your family members all want some of it, but would they buy a lottery ticket? Oh no. They don't want to spend the dollar, but they will be happy to reap in your benefits. And I've known of families that it created such a problem because the guy who won the lottery says, it's my money. And everybody wanted him to tell him who to share it with and who to give this and who not to give that. But if when you're buying the lottery, is there anyone applauding you when you lose? But when you win, everyone wants a piece of the pie. I promised myself I'm going to start buying the lottery, and every time I do that, I just can't remember to get the ticket. And if I get one ticket, I have it in my bag for 6 months before checking it. Horrible thing. But I promised myself that I'm going to, try to buy the lottery some more consistently. Because if I win, or should I say when I win, in my head, I know all the wonderful things that I'd want to do with it. I told you my dream is to have a place where people can come and eat and have a shower and get clean clothes if they don't have it. That's my dream of my charity, because I'll know for sure that they're getting it, and I'm not giving my money to someone else who is using it to pay their salary or to go and buy dinner for their friends, or to go on a cruise with it, or do crazy things with my money. I'd rather see the charity and touch it myself. So that's my dream if I win the lottery. Yeah, I'd want to buy a house in Paris. I would. Yeah, and you hate that. No, you shouldn't hate that. That's my dream. What's yours? You gotta have dreams and hopes, but you still have to be content. I am quite content with what I'm doing now and who I am and where I'm at. What have you accomplished for this year? I can say, yes, I accomplished a lot of things. I wrote my book. It's out. And I want it to be sold. I got my t-shirts made, and they're there on my website. I'm doing the Diana White Show online, not on television, and I'm not on radio, but I'm thankful for this, and I'm hoping that someone, somewhere around the world, would be helped by what I'm saying, or what I'm doing here, or reading my book, to know my daughter's tragic story. It could happen to you. Life changes in a moment. So which planet would you want to be on? What space would you like to occupy? You want a dream house? How you think you're going to get that house? You got to go work to get the house. I never hoped for a big house. I always only want to have a house that's pretty. That's just me. I'd love to be living in Los Angeles because that's my favorite state in the Union. So what are your dreams? Don't envy someone else for their dream. President Obama wanted to be president. Everyone told him he couldn't be, but he wanted to be, and he did become the president. Chase your own dreams. But while you're chasing the dream, make sure you love who you are and stop complaining about what you don't have and be thankful for what you do have. So you want your family members to come from their various countries to be with you, and then when they come, you're like miserable because I don't want to live with these people. And so we see. Have you thought about polio in recent years? Well, I want to just remind you that there's an outbreak of polio in Syria. Did you even remember that people can still have polio? So aren't you thankful that you're vaccinated and you don't have polio and your kids don't? They should have a vaccine for rheumatoid arthritis, I think, for juveniles. Yes, they should. But do you know that there's a doctor that's out there that was on Benny Hinn saying that he can cure any disease, any sickness, but the reason that we are not cured when we go to the doctor is because if they cure you, then they only make $350, but if they keep you coming, they will make thousands. So I'm mixing it all up this morning because I want you to hear me. I want you to get up and stand up for you. Teach your children to stand up for themselves. In Thailand, it got a little violent over the weekend, but before that, in Thailand, it was a peaceful protest to oust the female prime minister because they say she's doing a lousy job. So why can't we protest to get rid of all the Congress people that are doing a bad job in Washington? Because that's just not how Americans do things. And ye do not rejoice about the poll numbers of President Obama because, trust me, eventually, the website that you all are talking about, and I don't know why you're so excited to go to a website to get your health care, because I'd rather go person to person. See, we have allowed technology to take over our lives. And my golly, we would rather create an accident and be texting or talking on the phone than just paying attention and focusing for a few moments. So in Thailand, if you can think, people are demonstrating in the street in thousands because they do not like the job that the Prime Minister is doing. She just happens to be female. Let us not just think about our own little world today. Let us expand our thoughts and our horizon. Get on Google. Get on your computer and explore. Put things into Google and find out. Do you know that just a few moments a day for an elderly person going online and researching stuff helps your mind and your memory? You got to stay, because sometimes you just don't want to be bothered. I sometimes don't want to come and sit here and talk because I wonder, is anyone listening? Does anyone care? Is anyone out there? Are you there? But no, you do this because this is something you want to do, and you hope that if you help one person per day, you'll be making a contribution to society. And if one person reads my book and becomes smarter and wiser about healthcare and what can happen and miracles and restoration and tragedy and devastation, yes, I'm blessed and I'm thankful. How blessed do you think you are today? Believe me, you are blessed because you're alive. We need to take a break again and come back in just a moment. This is the Diana Wright Show, and we are live. Yes, we are. We're live. Back in a moment. Hello, everyone. I am just asking you from around the world and in the United States to partner with the Diana Wright Show, sponsor the Diana Wright Show, or advertise on the Diana Wright Show. To do so, please call 561-228-1921. That's 561-228-1921. Please sponsor, partner with us, and advertise with us to make the show a big hit, just like you do by liking us on Facebook and following me on Twitter. Thank you so much. Don't forget the number to call, 561-228-1921. That's 561-228-1921. Also, we invite you to invite me to be at your event as a speaker and to tell you about my new book, Deadly Negligence. And so we encourage you to partner with us right here on the Diana Wright Show. Advertise with us and sponsor the Diana Wright Show. 561-228-1921. Thank you so much. Okay, we're back, and this is the Diana Wright Show live. The website, www.dianawrighttv.webs.com. We thank you so much for joining us from around the world and in the United States. What are you doing today to make you a better you? What are you doing to complete your circle, to find your passion? What are you doing today to stop the hate in your heart for your brother, your sister, your mother, your friend, any relative? What are you doing today to forgive someone who hurt you? And what are you doing today to love who you are? And did you know that in 2014, banks are thinking of charging you to keep your own money? Oh boy, based on the Fed report, that may be a possibility. As the Fed tapers what's called QE, quantitative easing, that everybody's talking about. Oh, it's time for the Fed to taper. But the Fed does not want to taper because they fear that what they're doing to help the economy by buying up all those bonds, the Republicans could light it afire in a moment because they just want to destroy President Barack Hussein Obama. None other reason. They're not thinking about their own Americans. They're not thinking about their constituents. They're just thinking about how much they hate the black guy that's in the White House. Now, why should we be like that? And then we talk about we're conservative Christians? How Christian can you be when you hate somebody else? How Christian can you be when you go to a church with all white people or all black people or all Indian people or all Chinese people or all Middle Eastern people or all Muslim people? Have you taken time to study the Torah, the Jewish faith, the Quran, the Muslim faith? Do you think that everyone should be Christians? Do you think that God loves all of us? Do you think we're all trying to serve the same God? I think we are. Should we take time out to see into other people's world before we criticize them? You cannot feel my pain until you've walked in my shoe. You don't understand my pain until you've felt some of my pain. And you really don't understand my story until you've walked my journey. But if you want to read and be part of the journey, once you read the book, Deadly Negligence, you will become part of the journey. And that's when I sign for everyone who buys my book, and I'm there to sign that book. That's what I do. I thank them for being a part of the journey, because when you buy a book, you actually come with me on my journey, my journey of tragedy and devastation, but then there's miracles and restoration and supernatural powers that are afoot in the process, on the journey. So I invite you to take the journey with me. And don't be hating on me and criticizing me and all that kind of stuff. Because people do that too, you know. They just don't know. And if you can help a sister out with the internet or technically or whatever, why not do it? Why not volunteer to do so? To help someone else to be better. I will invite people on this show to help them if I can. Lots of them are shy, camera shy. So that's why, you know, next year I'm going to be including media proficiency. Being comfortable with the camera. I'll teach you to do that. You got to pay me though. It won't be for free. So executives, politicians, because have you noticed some politicians and some executives, when they get on the camera, they talk a whole lot of crap. They look nervous. And they just can't gather their thoughts. It takes training. But you see, everybody believes they know everything and they can do everything. Just like I didn't want to pursue interior design, like I love it and do it, but everyone thinks they're a designer. So how are you going to help someone who thinks they can already do the thing? And even if you go and you point out things to them, they think, So everyone who has a house, who has an apartment, who lives somewhere, believe they're a designer, and they're not. Did you know there's a difference between an interior decorator and a designer? A designer is the one that knows the measurements and construction and all that kind of stuff. And then there's a decorator who just knows how to move around furniture and put up artwork. And if you're a designer who went and took all those exams, you are mad when someone who's a decorator say they're a designer. Do you know there's actually, and I actually know the lady who heads this up, she goes around and checks people's placards and things that they're putting up without license, because as an interior designer, you have to have a license to call yourself that. So I actually know the lady who goes around and makes sure she's also a professor. She makes sure you get prosecuted if you're claiming to be a designer. Indeed, there is such a lady, and I do know her. She was my professor in my interior design class. So, you just gotta get yourself in the know. You gotta do some work. You gotta exercise your mind and your body and your spirit, and wellness is something that you truly should achieve. So, are those sales on Black Friday and I guess Brown Thursday now? Are they real, or are they just hyped to get you in the store? We see that the holiday spending deteriorated. It declined this year. Black Friday was not as black as they wanted it to be. Even though I sat at my house and I watched all these people killing one another to get through the store door. I saw one lady trying to pull a toy from another person, and she said, I have kids too. I have 3 boys too. Is that the way you want your children to see you behaving to buy them a toy? Well, my daughter would not be getting that toy. Seriously. And we're not here to criticize you or anything, but should you just kind of take a look, step back and look at yourself? Because that piece is running all day. So at some point, someone who knows you will see you. People bumping into people, stampeding, pushing, shoving to get in the door of a store to get 50% off. Is that 50% off really real? And is it worth it for you to behave like a monster to get a deal? I guess you didn't think about it that way. Are they tricking you to just get you in the store? Is it all for the hype? And to see how people behave when they think they're going to get something for free or half off or I am not getting a deal until I'm getting 70% off. And I have to see that thing in the store and know what the original price was before I decide I'm happy about a sale. Because you do know that stores mass produce things and say they are on sale when they really are cheap stuff. Just check out the retail business. They'll tell you. So, what are you thankful for today? I want you to really think about that. I want you to make a decision. Don't wait for January 1st to love yourself and to think of wellness. I am responsible for me. I'm responsible for the food I put in my mouth. I'm responsible for the things I do. I'm responsible for my behavior. I'm responsible for my anger. I'm responsible for my malice, my unforgiveness. And I'm also responsible for my broken heart too. Because sometimes your heart is broken, but what did you do? You might have done it totally unintentional, because you're thinking that person could not be thinking about anything else right now because you're going through so much. But no, they are. So you contributed to your broken heart. It takes two to tango. You can't have one person arguing. It takes two. We're going to take another break and come back in just a moment. This is the Diana Wright Show live, and we thank you so much for joining us today from around the world and in the United States, and we hope that you survived eating too much Thanksgiving turkey and everything else, all the trimmings that go with it. Back in just a moment. Hello everyone. It doesn't matter who you are, how rich you are, how poor you are. But there has to be a point in your life, and you will come to that point, where you have to take someone you love to the hospital. But have you ever considered that you could take that loved one, in my case, my only child, to the hospital in a normal state, and then you leave 5 months later, brain damaged, in a wheelchair, without your senses? This is my true story, Deadly Negligence, the book, available on Amazon and at my website dianawrighttv.webs.com. I'm asking you today to get a copy. Support my story. Let us get this out there, because this story will captivate you. It will shock you. It will give you hope. It will increase your faith and make you believe in miracles again. Thank you for picking up your copy today. And just in case you know Oprah Winfrey or Tyler Perry or Mr. Levinson, let them know this is worth a movie. Thank you. Get your copy today. Okay, we are back, and this is the Diana Wright Show live. We thank you for joining us from around the world and in the United States. Welcome back to the show. And if you just joined us, we're just trying to lift you up this morning and trying to get you to love who you are to begin with, so you can then move to the other things like thankfulness, forgiveness. Stop complaining about stuff. Stop hating. Stop being jealous. Stop being envious. Be happy when your friend or your sister or anyone else you know is doing well. Don't have a grudging heart. It's not a good thing. So we see that Mr. Jeff Bezos on 60 Minutes last night let us in on his secret, that he's developing drones that will deliver your package to your door. It might take a couple of years, as he says. But still, He has great ideas and he has the money to play around with it. But he has a concept that's unique. He doesn't think about the profits right away. He thinks about building an audience, customer base. Just like I'm trying to do here. It's something else. I'm trying to build an audience of people who might not necessarily be able to watch me live every day, but they can go to my website and watch the shows and get something from it. And when I have a guest, like on Wednesdays when I have Dax Dunn to talk about wellness and his 21-day detox in a box that helps you to be well, live well, and stay well. And even though you're getting the Affordable Care Act now, you're going to be able to buy insurance. It's still your responsibility to be well. And you have to love Pope Francis, don't you? Because he is just, I gather he's going to be visiting Israel next year. But before he visits Israel, he has lots of things to say. And did you also know that shoppers did not line up for Thanksgiving Day deals in stores in Rhode Island, Maine, and Massachusetts? They can't. It's the legacy of so-called blue laws, which prohibit large supermarkets, big box stores, and department stores from opening on Thanksgiving. Some business groups complain, but many shoppers, workers, and even retailers say they're satisfied with a one-day reprieve from work and holiday shopping. Some business groups complain it's an unnecessary barrier during an era of 24-hour online shopping legislation, which has so far gone nowhere to kind of change that in Mass or Rhode Island or Maine. Wow. Convenience stores are allowed to open on holidays, as are movie theaters, pharmacies, restaurants, and some other businesses. The laws do not prohibit stores from opening at non-traditional hours like Friday, and some will open at midnight or 1 a.m. Which holiday deals will start? But the blue laws were once widespread throughout the country. Remember when the United States, every place was closed on Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day. Wow. And that goes back to colonial times, although some of the current regulations in Maine were instituted in 1960s. The rules vary among the states. Retailers smaller than 5,000 square feet can operate in Maine for Thanksgiving and Christmas, are the main holidays affected in all 3 states. But in Massachusetts, blue laws also prohibit stores from opening on the mornings of Columbus Day and Veterans Day without state permission. My goodness, can you imagine? You're living in Maine or in Massachusetts. You got to get permission to open on Veterans Day and Columbus Day. Wow. Easter and New Year's Day are also sometimes included. So, I don't know. Are they going to open on New Year's Day now here? What? Ooh, I don't know. Is it just about the almighty dollar that the Pope is talking about? Pope Francis called the renewal of the Roman Catholic Church and attacked unfettered capitalism. He calls it a new tyranny, urging global leaders to fight poverty and growing inequality in the first major work he has authored alone as pontiff. Not just the Pope. In Switzerland, they were trying to get a referendum on all executives and CEOs not making more than 12 times what their little people work get in their companies. But that was thrown out, you see, because everybody says, well, if the referendum went through, that means all the talented, high-powered folks would run away and leave Switzerland. I don't believe that. So now the Switzerland government, the Swiss government, is trying to actually pay everyone $2,800 US per month to stop or to just try to help with that inequality of income. And don't you wonder about that all the time? Why is it that some people have so much and some people have so little and some people have nothing? But sometimes those people who have nothing are happier than the people who have a whole lot of something. Yeah, actually. So the 84-page document known as an apostolic exhortation amounted to an official platform for his papacy. In it, Francis went further than previous comments, criticizing the global economic system, attacking the idolatry of money. Do you know that we idolize money? I really try not to idolize money. I like money. I don't like money. I like the things that money can buy. The peace of mind that money can buy. The things you can do for others when you have money. You know, like we were watching a movie and it shows you how this wealthy guy can do so much for his bride, his future bride, because he has money. We should not curse money, and the Bible doesn't talk about just money. It says for the love of money. You should not love money. You should love the things that money affords you to do. And that's the reason I like money. For the things it can do. Because if you have no money, you can't do anything. What can you do without money? Not very much. Even if you plan a simple picnic that doesn't cost a lot, you still have to spend some money to buy the blanket and the basket and the knife and forks and the things and the food and everything else to go with the picnic. If you decide just to buy a bottle of fragrance for your wife or your loved one, that costs you money. So money is a necessary evil, if you want to call it that. But you shouldn't pray to it. You shouldn't love it so much, and you should not be just, oh my God, I have this, but I want that. Wow. And beseeching politicians to guarantee all citizens dignified work, education, and health care. Can you imagine the Pope is asking that? He must be talking to the Congress of the United States of America. He also called on rich people to share their wealth. Well, Pope Francis, I don't know about that. They'll tell you they give to charity already. Just as the commandment, thou shalt not kill, sets a clear limit in order to safeguard the value of human life, today we also have to say, thou shalt not, to an economy of exclusion and inequality, such an economy kills. The Pope said renewal of the Church could not be put off, and said the Vatican and its entrenched hierarchy also need to hear the call to pastoral conversation. He said, I prefer a church which is bruised, hurting, and dirty, because it has been out on the streets, rather than a church which is unhealthy from being confined and from clinging to its own security. In it, he reiterated earlier statements that the church cannot ordain women or accept abortion. The male-only priesthood, he said, is not a question open to discussion, but women must have more influence in the church leadership. A mediation on how to revitalize a church suffering from encroaching secularization in Western countries. The exhortation echoed the missionary zeal more often heard from the evangelical Protestants, who have won over many disaffected Catholics in the Pope's native Latin America. In it, economic inequality features as one of the issues that Pope Francis is most concerned about, and the 76-year-old pontiff calls for an overhaul of the financial system and warns that unequal distribution of wealth inevitably leads to violence. I say that all the time. The people that have nothing are going to come and break your door down because they have nothing. Trickle-down economics does not work. as long as the problems of the poor are not radically resolved by rejecting the absolute autonomy of markets and financial speculation, and by attacking the structural causes of inequality, no solution will be found by the world's problems, or, for that matter, to any problems, he wrote. Denying this was simple populism. He called for action beyond a simple welfare mentality. And he added, quote, "I beg the Lord to grant us more politicians who are genuinely disturbed by the state of society, the people, and the lives of the poor." My golly, that's a great way to end the show today. And thank you so much for joining me. Do not be an idolater of money. Do not idolize the furniture in your house. You know, some people, you go to their house, oh, you can't sit in that chair. Do not idolize the china in your china cabinet. Use it. That's what you bought it for. Don't wait for company. They might never come. And they do break eventually. And if you don't use them and wash them, they deteriorate. So let us begin our journey this week for the rest of the year and for the new year by loving who we are just the way God made us. Don't idolize anything you have, whether it's money or things, because you just never know. And let us be thankful and content with what we have, because we woke up this morning and we can breathe. We did not die in a car crash or a plane crash or a derailment of a train or in our Porsches over the weekend, or like Mr. Crouch, who died. We're still alive and still can make a contribution to someone else's life, to uplift, to teach someone else to love who they are. And if you already love yourself, continue to do so. Just pass it on. So the magic words for today and every day: I love me. So if you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it was never yours. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I do wish for you a blessed day, a safe day, a successful week, and a week of prosperity. In the name of the Mighty One, Jesus.